This is pretty much my fucking favorite. So if I were to talk on the phone with someone, I would basically have my video games on. I'd be listening to music. I'd be reclining, getting my heartbeat saved. And I had a little issue earlier. I was like, the gang stalkers would send me a pog if it didn't work out with Dance Girl. And then I was like, well, I'm not racist. I don't care if they're white. I forgot that pog means fat ass white girl. I thought pog just means a gyat. You know, really what I meant is a gyat. And also, but you know what else is interesting? Here's something. What do you think of this? So there is this girl with this picture, Diamond in the Rough, who I think is Dance Girl. And she's like, do a cover called Mighty Hands. And then that's like a double-fisted reference. And then she's like, and then also she had a ladybug on the picture of the song cover, which is Chelsea's profile picture. And then also there was, and then the next song she does is a song about horses. She's like, sing a song about horses called Skid Row. And I was like, Dance Girl, are you like fucking with me here? Because if you are, I'm going to be really upset. And, it's going to break my heart. Dance Girl, please don't dump me. Please don't stand me up. Well, of course you can't ask that, but I'll be really upset. I feel like telling Dance Girl, I'm going to be really upset. If you're playing me, I'm going to be really hurt. So, yeah, here's my Sonic game. Basically, this is not like a normal lecture. This is just... Fuck, I'm so lame. I'm so fucking lame. I need to calm down. This is just video games. I felt really lonely, actually. I'll be very lonely. If I didn't have Dance Girl, I'd be extremely lonely. But I'm not desperate either. I would rather know. I would rather I think Dance Girl respects my boundaries because they're actually real. Like, I wouldn't just accept anything. I think a pig needs that. She needs to know that her man's boundaries are real. A willingness to walk away. Like, you teach people how to treat you type of thing. I was thinking about this Sherry and Chris. That's like the equivalent in our little microcosm of America bombing a girls' school. Like, it overextends your reach so much. It's like, it's so fucked. Hey, it's us. We want you to know. Sherry and Chris is names of people in their 50s. I've long suspected my handlers are in their 50s or 60s. You'd have to be that perverted. But when you're like, okay, let's just bomb a girls' school, and we're the good guys, it's like, that's like Commodus killing Maximus's family with horses, and then saying, hey, it's me, Mighty Hands, double-fisted you, and talk about getting raped by a horse cock, by Mark from the KMH. Someone like, I don't know that, okay, but like someone like that who also stalked me on the trails. And, you could imagine what that would mean. I obviously knew he's this big, huge, aggressive gay guy. He would have loved that. Oh, I'm sure he would have loved. He was extremely aggressive. And I'm like, Sherry and Chris, has anything happened to you? I'm assuming Sherry and Chris are Dance Girl's parents. Or Chris is TSD and Sherry is TSM. That'd be pretty nuts. And I'm like, I bet you regret that. And really, this is not a gang stalking thing. This is a matriarch thing. This is a supremacy thing. So, but I would be kind of hurt if Dance Girl was making reference to that. You know, that would side with Google AI, that because that was like really nice of her to say, hi, it's me, I'm talking to you, I want to get married. And oh, by the way, I want to terrorize you. Because I always thought that Dance Girl was mad at me, like she would show up for a date and I wouldn't talk to her, and then she'd be like, okay, now I'm going to cuck you and try and kill you. But with that online persona, I was like, I'm being totally nice to you here, and you're still terrorizing me. What's the deal with that? Like, that's pretty wacko. Well, that's obviously, I think there's old Dance Girl and new Dance Girl. But I'm like, I always thought that was like nice dance. I always thought old Dance Girl was just having misunderstandings and was just angry. But I'm like, if that was like her being nice, then what hope do I fucking have? Like, that's fucking... And I'd be really fucking sad without Dance Girl. I feel lonely right now. I can't believe it, but I feel fucking lonely. I got enough sleep. It's easy to... Somehow, this reminds me of Lorraine. Lorraine is a really nice targeted individual. She lives in a hick town. She would have got a PhD, but she has a master's in psychology. I know that's not a real subject. But she's very smart, and she likes Artie Lang. And Osho likes Artie Lang. I typically don't like psychologists and psychiatrists, but I like Artie Lang, and Osho does too. And so does Lorraine. And Lorraine only gets 6 hours of sleep a night. Now, she only gets that because she gets harassed. Like, in a hick town, you get gang stalked way fucking worse. Because all you need is like a couple... Because people are fucking retarded in hick towns. It's where people go to die or join a cult. I mean, why wouldn't you want to live in a city? Well, there are exceptions, you know. Farmers are nice. But typically, I think people are more fucked up in a hick town. I mean, that's where the name comes from. And she only gets 6 hours sleep a night, I think, for personal reasons. I think even if she's not gang stalked. And I notice that when I'm not sleeping that much, I'm always stressed about something. It's almost like staying drunk. It's like staying medicated. You can't really think about stuff that much if you're overtired. And part of it is sleep deprivation and just being conditioned that I can't get sleep anyway, so don't even try anymore. But lately I've been feeling like the mayor, and I'm like, I can sleep now. And so tonight I got enough sleep, and now I feel like really great, like I'm in a really good mood. I'm way more coherent. I mean, it was easy to call Sherry and Chris, but of course they won't have their real phone number. But that's really damning for Sherry. If Sherry and Chris are actually people who are behind this, that's like bombing a girl's school level. Like, obviously it's worse to bomb a girl's school, but as far as overextending your reach, that's like seriously shooting yourself in the foot level. And so I'm not surprised they've phoned in. I hope it's not Dance Girl's parents. I really do. I hope it's TSD and TSM. Because if it's Dance Girl's parents, I'd just be like, that plus Dance Girl talking about mighty hands and fucking, what's it called? Mighty hands and horses. And like, why are you talking about that? Like, that's just so sick. And you're always angry at me when I don't talk to you. And now... I talk to you and I'd be nice, and then you're fucking mean to me. Like, that makes me fucking worried. What about all these other gifts? Like, what if it's the same thing? It makes me feel fucking lonely. I'm like, I want to say, Dance Girl, meet me right now. I'm gonna go to the trails right now, because I can't stand another minute living without you. I have to find out immediately. That's honestly how I felt like talking. And I was like, if you do that, she's not even going to go there and you're going to be disappointed. And I'm like, well, why are you even waiting for June 2nd then? You think that she wouldn't go tonight, but she would go on June 2nd? I mean, if she's going to stand you up tonight, she'd stand you up on June 2nd. And I'm like, well, that is for me. Like, if she stands me up on June 2nd, then at least I've prepared for it. You know, I got my tonsil stone machine. I got my nice clothes. I've done everything to be like a really good boyfriend. So I can say like, you know, I tried my best. And that's like all I can say. But tonight I'm just so lonely. I was like, I just want to talk to Dance Girl. So that's why I'm making this video. Like, I don't even have anything else to say. So I'm just like, you can watch me play video games. Please just watch me play video games. You know, I know you're not supposed to say that. Like, I only miss you because I'm lonely. You're supposed to be like, I'm not lonely. I'm so happy on my own. And now, because I'm happy on my own, I deserve you. And I'm like full and I'm overflowing and giving from the tank, not giving from the surplus. I mean, not the tank. But I think my loneliness tonight is a bit scientific because I'm wondering about what's the deal with talking about horses and ladybugs and mighty hands. And then Ursula's son. You know, but what I wanted to say to Stella is, and Kayla, sorry for making fun of you guys for being fat. Like, I started getting fat because it's too hard. Life is too hard. I mean, sometimes you gotta have some butter. You really do. And I mean, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't just keep eating fucking salads. I'm like, I need something that makes all the pain go away and is delicious. You know, I need that. Or I'm gonna go fucking crazy. So, you know, and my dad's fat too. So he lost weight so fast. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. He went from like fat to skinny in like 1 month. It was awesome. I liked him better fat. But I don't know. I think that's just because I got used to him that way. You know, I would say be healthy, obviously be skinny. I didn't like Tim at first when he got skinny. Tim is skinny now. And Ted is skinny now too. And I was like, I don't like that. But now I'm like, now I like it. My mom was saying, what picture should I add of Tim? Because it's his birthday. So she was making him a card and she had these 2 pictures of him. She had old Tim, which is like not fat, but like he weighed more. And then the new picture of Tim, which is skinny. And I was like, the old picture, because he looks better there. But then I was like, maybe it's just a matter of getting used to someone. Marina was always like, I'm going to dump you if you get skinny. She's like, I want you to be fat. You know? So I think my loneliness was sort of just wondering, does Dance Girl actually love me? And because she definitely gave me some conflicting messages online, if that was her, which I think it was. Anyways, I still wanted to just hang out though. Loneliness or not, I feel better. I know she could watch anytime, but it's nicer when I'm able to talk to the microphone and intentionally make a video. I'm not just going to talk to myself like a crazy person. So I'm beating all these levels again. Someone hacked my fucking thing. I'm like, you know, if you hack me, I think we're going to hack you. You know what I mean? Like if we take it to court. But I don't know. But I'm like, isn't that the way it works though? Like you try and set me up, you rape me, you get raped. You car accident me, you get car accident. And in that sense, gang stalking prevents people from circumnavigating the law. But, you know, I think this is more of a matriarch versus a patriarch thing. And the matriarch and the patriarch are both bad. They both work together, really. They're the cartel people. Well, I don't care about cheating. I don't have to cheat to win. But I mean, if gang stalking is the official government, the official government is gang stalking. Is that true or not? Even though the gang stalking is done by the CIA, who is not the official government, because gang stalking has recruited so many people. So many people have overturned what the CIA is. So we still have an old and dying system, but it's like filled by new people. Like politics is a dirty game, but lots of good people are getting involved in politics now. So it's changing. So yeah, there's handlers who can do horrible stuff, but if you get enough public help, then gang stalking is the true government at this point. And so that's how it's dished out. It's like if you try to do something, you try and put something on my computer, then you end up with something on your computer. And all the judges, all the police, they all say, we know that you tried to put something on my computer, and so therefore it is fair, it is legal that you get something put on your computer. And therefore, let's go to court and let's see what happens. I mean, I don't know if that's how it works, but I personally feel safe. Like, I would never lock my door at this point. I would never worry about anyone harming me. It took fucking long enough, but that was a matriarch versus patriarch thing. So, and really, it's not like I changed the matriarch. It's not like I dismantled the matriarch. It's that there were men helping. You know what I mean? Like, if the roles were reversed, I would be dead, and any family who helped me, who's a man, would also be dead. And so people are like, you can't do that. You know, only a woman can do that. Only a woman can abuse a child sexually and physically, and only a woman can abuse a man sexually and physically. But it doesn't go the other way around. So because lots of people on my enemies list are men who helped make this happen, then therefore that's how I won, even though the matriarch still exists. And I think that's, you know, pretty lame, really. You know, I think it's pretty fucking lame. And it probably comes from some biological nonsense that's not even true, given the new pills, given this condoms, you know, because it's worse to rape a woman than it is to rape a man, because then the woman gets pregnant. And then she has to raise a baby that she doesn't even like. And that happens to lots of women. I feel really bad for women. I don't know if I've gotten raped. I think I have. Okay, or it could have been something even worse that I don't know. But, I mean, I could have been injected with something. When I had a vaccine in grade 11, I had the worst pain in my intestines I'd ever had in my life. And it was like that night. It was the most horrible fucking pain I've ever had. And it was like my, I don't know how it translated to that, but it did. And I knew it was from that. What was I talking about again? Sonic. Just gotta get a new song on here. Well, I miss Dance. I love Dance Girl still. I'm gonna be really, really sad. Okay, I'm not like fucking, I don't want to say it. I'm not threatening Dance Girl. Okay, I don't even want to say that because I know someone's gonna say that. I'm like, Dance Girl, I'm gonna be really upset if you don't show up. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you're really gonna hurt my feelings. I'm gonna be really heartbroken. I'm saying I love you, and I'm gonna be really heartbroken if you fucking stand me up. I want you to be there right at the beginning of the trails. Like, I don't want to have to be like, okay, where's she going to be? Unless you have a really good surprise, like unless you're going to be there at a really special spot. But I just want it to be like very obvious that we're going for a walk together. And not like, oh, who, me? Why? Who are you? Why? Like, I want it to be like, hey, we're meeting here. This is what we're doing. And in the meantime, I hope that wasn't you on that fucking thing. You know? And then after the next date, when was the next, like, what have my dance girl dates been? Her with a baby carriage and my bike near my favorite tree that got cut down, which I'm assuming that tree got cut down because it was my favorite tree, because I talked about it's my favorite tree. I loved that tree. I would always give that tree hugs. And then it was the fucking, I can't remember the order, but then it was like at the cemetery. Then our next date was at the cemetery. What does that mean? Kind of like sit down with me and die. And then the date in the forest with training wheels and the poodle, I was like, was that just a setup? What was that all about? Was that even a date? And then online, like everything, you know, the forest date with training wheels was like the only one where it wasn't like something that made me feel like it was backhanded. And even that, she was facing away from me as if like, just walk by, don't talk to me. And it's like, well, then why are you mad? If you don't want me to talk to you, why are you even mad in the first place? I don't get it. Google AI would say you're not supposed to get it. It's because she has mental problems. And I'm like, and then the next date was the fucking cemetery. And then like on the bridge, like fucking jumping and threatening to kill me, and while her dad is in the fucking parking lot watching, like, just like, what the fuck? And so now I'm thinking, okay, so what do I have now that confirms that everything's good now? The watches, the dress, and then black dress, and the 19. I mean, and that's it. So I'm going on very little here. So it's really scary for me sometimes, because I'm all in here. There's no other way to be, though. You have to be all in. You actually won't forgive yourself if you're only half-hearted. If you're full-hearted, you can handle whatever happens. So I gave Dance Girl a real lashing. Not really. It was a heavy night. That's what I'm trying to say. It was a heavy night. And I just need to hang out with her at this point. I don't particularly sound romantic right now. Okay. I'm damaged here. I'm eating burgers, getting fat. I feel lonely. I feel isolated. And it all happens because I'm not tired anymore, because I feel really good and I don't have any problems. So I have no excuses. I just have to sit here with my emotions. It's a Saturday night. I'm just like, oh my God, you know, what am I supposed to do? So do you think Sherry and Chris are Dance Girl's parents or TSD and TSM? I mean, it makes me happy that lots of people know. Well, I don't agree that gang stalking is good. Okay, gaslighting people is not good. I mean, they made an episode of that about South Park with Britney Spears. I think it's some kind of celebrity worship. You know, like Jesus Christ, like you put him on the cross, but then you give him some worshiping too. You say, we're allowed to kill you just as long as we put you above us. And then once we kill you, we'll reinterpret everything you say and make it our own. Like TPUSA with Charlie Kirk. I don't like Charlie Kirk, but I love him. Okay, I would never listen to anything he says. If he was at my family Christmas party, I'd say that guy's an idiot. But I love him. He believes what he's not a hypocrite. He says lots of things I agree with, but anyone should say those things. He's like, do you know what I don't like? Senseless evil. Oh, gee, okay. Good observation, Charlie. You know, he's talking to the masses, so he has to be retarded. He's a good person, you know, regardless his opinions. Most of his opinions are great, I'm sure. I really love Charlie Kirk. Doesn't mean I have his fucking opinions on things. And I don't really like his head, you know, the shape of his head, his hairline. You know, I'm sure he couldn't grow a full beard if he tried. You know, he has a neotenized face. I'm sure that he couldn't grow a beard. You know, I look at that guy's face, I think, oh God. No wonder Erica killed you. But can you imagine Erica, like how brainwashed she is? She's like, I gotta kill my man. And then she's forgiving Tyler Robinson like she's a god. She's like, it's okay. So ridiculous. So I have the house to myself on June 1st. And then, so therefore I brought the Xbox downstairs here. So I'm playing on expert mode. Normally I don't get to talk to you like this while I'm laying down. You get a different personality when I'm reclined. It's just more lax. Well, I don't film myself when I'm reclining because I feel like it's lazy. Like people aren't gonna watch. I love the fact that people watch. I love that you're watching. I'd be devastated. I would be devastated if Dance Girl shows stands me up on our date. I'm probably gonna stop making YouTube videos. I'm gonna be super fucking lonely. I'm gonna be the loneliest I've ever been in my life. I've been talking to Dance Girl for so long. I swear I'm gonna be like, I'm telling you, Dance Girl, if you stand me up, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna be so upset. At the same time, I'm like, totally do it if that's what you need to do. Not that I'm giving you permission. Not that I think I could give you permission. But that I'm like, go ahead. You know, I'll get over it. I'll get over it. It might take me five years. But maybe not, according to Google AI. But I do believe you're going to be there. I do believe you love me. And I do believe that you're going to be there. And that's like me getting married. Like, that's like really important to me. Like, I wanted to tell you that. Like, I just wanted to be romantic here. Tell you I can't wait. Super exciting. I'm so excited. I will literally jog just to get there faster. I'm like, I have to see you right now. It's so amazing. I really swear. I mean, not to be negative Nelly here, but I would be the lucky one. If you dump me, I would be the lucky one that I got so much out of this. And I'd hope, I don't think you're going to dump me. I'd hope that I would still be doing well. I think either way, whatever happens, whether you're there or not, either way, I'm going to have the motivation to get healthy and get really strong like Anatoly, or just get a really nice body. I'm listening to one of your songs right now. One of the ones that makes me the most sick. It's called Wave, featuring Noga Erez, Locked Groove Remix. Roan. The band is Roan, and the song is Wave, featuring Nogaerez. Noga Erez. Those are two separate words. And it's this song, it's like, I consume the way, I consume the way, I consume the way. And I used to listen to that song when I would think of you, and that was the last time I was ever in love. Okay, I don't know if you've ever been in love, Dance Girl, but the last person I was in love with was you. And now I don't know what that feels like anymore. And, well, you know, I'd say I love you, but having that like intense, I think I was infatuated with you. I think that's the thing I don't have anymore. I'm not capable of infatuation anymore. And so I would listen to this song, I Consume the Way, and it would get totally hypnotized. Do you ever get like totally hypnotized by someone? And you're just obsessed with them, like you're completely obsessed? Now, clearly, I think, yeah, you are. Clearly, you're very obsessive. And I miss that feeling. Like, I miss going into those dimensions of just being entwined with someone. Like, I just want to get into you. And I feel like that when I listen to that song, I Consume the Way. And it's like this power thing. It's like you're consuming the way. It doesn't even make sense, but it just feels right. I couldn't even explain it. What does that even mean? I don't know, but it's right. It's exactly what's happening. But yet you can't explain it? Yeah, exactly. I can't explain it. I consume the way. I have no idea what that means, but that's what's happening. And there's so many layers of power dynamics in it. You know, power really is an aphrodisiac. There's something very, very alluring about it, like extremely alluring. And you think you're above it. You think, I'm not getting my feathers ruffled by that. Oh, but you are. Oh, but how you'd love that kind of power. Every saint dreams of being a Hitler. And every Hitler dreams of being a saint. You would love that kind of power. You would. You really would. Just do whatever you want. Take whatever you want. No regard for anyone. Make everyone your slave. Like be Xerxes. With Diophilia. Fucking make multiple slaves suck your dicks. And say, as long as you suck it, you get to keep sucking it. Okay, I'll let you suck it forever as long as you suck it forever. Okay, Xerxes, and I'll let you suck both of them. Okay, I'll let your wife and you suck both my dicks forever if you give me your soul. Okay, Xerxes, anything you say, scissor me, Xerxes, scissor me. Like fucking Mr. Garrison. I mean, South Park's episode on gang stalking was really right. But, you know what? If you did gang stalking right, it wouldn't be that bad. You know, I could tell you the gang stalkers throughout my life were nasty. You know? It wouldn't... Yeah, it sucks. You shouldn't gaslight people. Like, why would you... What would be the point of that, of gaslighting people? You know, it's not active surveillance. You know, that's what it looks like. They're like, oh, it's just active surveillance. Like, no, that's like power tripping. That's like telling people, hey, I watched you in the bathroom. It's no coincidence that gang stalking comes from a place where prostitution is illegal. No coincidence at all. There was two firecrackers when I woke up, like 2 gunshots. I was like, was that for me and my mom or for Sherry and Chris? I wouldn't trade places with Sherry and Chris, I'll tell you that. I'm not joking, I'm not being facetious here. I'm not being tough guy on campus. I'm saying I'll really bet that you got it where, like, that you wouldn't repeat it. If you're like, okay, leave this guy alone. That's what you would have said if you would have known what would happen. And I'm like, that's because I'm a child of God. I can just walk right through you. I don't have to dodge bullets. I can just walk into you like Neo and explode you. But you don't know that that's who I am. It sounds arrogant to say it, but really I'm like, that's really what's happening. Whatever trap you have, I'll just walk right into it and explode you. And now I think they're mad. Now I think Sherry and Chris are mad. They're like, it's not fair. You can't beat us. You can't. No, you can't. I'm like, I beat you because I'm not even trying to beat you. I have more power than you because I'm not even trying to have power. When my dad told me how rich he is, do you know what I thought? I thought, what a bunch of losers those people are. Because he said that. He's like, you know, he told me kind of slowly, but, you know, he told me, like, I know billionaires who are completely losers. And I was like, you know, I don't even care at all. It never mattered to me at all. And the same with how smart he was. I didn't know his IQ. And I was like, how are you so smart? Like, you're so smart. And then afterwards, you know, I was like, you know, it doesn't even, I was like, it does matter. I was like, I'm not smart, so I can never have any good thing happen to me. And he's like, actually, because I'm smart, I realize that your problem is that you don't have any mileage and experience because you're a coward. And I was like, I faked my whole personality to get you to like me, but one day I'm not going to be a coward, and I am going to put the things you taught me into practice. And I am going to be an awesome guy. I am. And I always kind of knew that that would happen, but I never knew how. And then finally, now I'm like, it's just not my style to go around approaching a bunch of pigs. Because pigs will find me. And like Julian Casablanca says that same thing. He's like, women find me, in his song Drifto, in the bridge. And so all I had to do was just be myself, just ride my bike, and then let the war come to me. Let the traps come to me. And then just walk through them like Neo. And then I should find a pig. You know, like Osho says, the loving heart always finds a loving heart. So maybe back then, I mean, that was like a few years ago, Dance Girl was like, hey, it's me, I'm the one who raped you, and I fucking own you. You're mine. Okay, I know about Chelsea, but I'm Chelsea now, and, you know, you got double-fisted, ha ha ha. And that's pretty sick. That's pretty fucked up. But at the same time, it's like, she's like, this is your best video. Talking about my mom. When I was talking about my mom, she's like, this is your best video. It's like, what's that all about? Even that reminds me of a threat or something. You know, coming from someone who everything they say is terrorizing. And it's like, oh, I should have used the handling. So you have different skills, like you can use balanced, you can use boost. And for these drift ones are actually pretty easy. These are easy to get lots of points from. I need like 50 points. Someone hacked my computer or my Xbox, and they deleted my save file. So I put like fucking, I don't know how many hours, like hundreds of fucking hours into this game. It's not that big a deal now. Okay, I'm a lot better at this game now. I can rebeat it pretty quickly. But still, a lot of these levels, it was so hard to beat them. Like, I'm just like on the edge of my chair. I'm like, So yeah, gang stalking definitely depends on who you get. But the whole gaslighting system to begin with, the whole thing is done by force, not through populism. The gang stalker themselves is crucified by losing their freedom of speech. Gang stalking is not about the TI. It's because the TI is extremely rare. The gang stalking is about removing the freedom of speech of the gang stalker. And every gang stalker is obviously gang stalked. And you will clearly know that by the first time you don't obey orders. Or the first time, clearly as a gang stalker, you have the gang stalking not torturous so long as you do the bidding of the state. And as your punishment for that, you lose your freedom of speech. And to some extent, then you lose your freedom of thought. Because when you lose freedom of speech, you lose freedom of thought. And it makes me wonder if my dad's roommate is a TI and if his girlfriend is a TI. I wouldn't be surprised. I think he feels bad for a lot of people and he helps them. Like, I don't know how, I think he takes care of his roommate. I don't know. But fucking, and when I asked him for money, like when I was like, you borrowed money from me, what the fuck? He was like, if you really need it, I'll sell my Rolex. I was like, no, don't do that. But, when he was like, oh, I'm rich family, I was like, that doesn't even count because you're not rich and you don't take money from your family. So, that doesn't even count really. So I was never like, oh, you're really rich. But what I never thought about was how much connections he has. How if he needs anything, he can get it. And so I would be really scared. Okay, I'm planning on marrying Dance. I'm planning on still being with Dance Girl. But I was like, if that didn't work out, would I ever be able to go to the bar? Could I ever fucking do that again? I was like, well, think about that later. Okay, you're not watching porn. You're not going to have these fantasies. You're leaning into your trust to Dance Girl. Remember what ChatGPT told you? It says, don't mistrust her. Because she's depending on you too. She needs you to trust her. And it's a big deal. It actually matters that your boyfriend trusts you. Love and trust are the same thing. She actually needs you to trust her. So that's partially why I'm here. I'm like, Dance Girl, I love you. And I can't stand to not be with you. So that's why I'm here talking to you. And even if you're not watching, I don't care. Because me talking to you makes me happy. And I'd like to have a better view for you of my Sonic racing, but the camera's plugged in. Can you imagine though, TSD's name is Chris? That's a nice name. But Sherry, that's not a nice name. Chris is an okay name. Well, I'm gonna like, I forget what Stella and Jamie's kid's name is, but they have a nice name, and Stella and Jamie are nice names too. Those are really fucking nice names. Zach is a nice name. Helen is a nice name. That's a very iconic name. Now Sherry, that's not a name of a child you love. That's something, that's like, you might as well have a welfare baby. Okay, Sherry is a very sick name. You'd have to be extremely sick to name your kid Sherry. Could you seriously imagine? You think I'm joking. But if you're like Stella or Jamie listening, or like, I want to even say Kayla. Kayla is a nicer name. Imagine naming your kid Sherry. You might as well name them Terry and Sherry. Like, that's a ridiculous name. That's a completely ridiculous name. And, but I don't know, if I had a kid, I don't know what I'd name them. I really don't. I'm sure I'd have to go through a whole book of names. Now, what about Ted? Yep, that's a good name. Jessica. Yeah, that's an okay name. Yeah, that's pretty good. Jess is a nice name. Now, frankly, if Dance Girl's name was Lily, I'd like Dance Girl's name to be Lily. Or it to be Chrissy. Or like Christine. Now, what could Dance Girl's name be? Could it be Elle? Now, clearly, if I could read minds, I like to say that I'm psychic. I'd be able to know her name. But maybe we only have psychic connections with certain people, and maybe it's confirmation bias too. I really don't know. But my mom was saying that when she talks with her boyfriend, they have a psychic connection too. And neither of them believe in that kind of stuff. But I've said this for a long time, that my mom and Helen are two of the most psychic people, the most telepathic people I've ever met. And Zeph is too. But somehow we occupy the same mental space. This is one of the harder levels in the game. Now, what if Dance Girl's name was Bridget? Bridget, that's a really ugly name. Okay, I would be very upset if her name was Bridget. Obviously, I'm keeping her name Dance Girl. But, and for a guy, you know what a really nasty name would be? Bryson. Bryson. What a fucking or Bryce. What a fucking gross name that is. Okay, what about Marcus? Nope, that's not a good name. What about Daniel? Nope, you weaselly little fuck. When I hear Daniel, I think you weaselly little fuck. I can't stand you. Kind of like, you know, Maynard from Group. Maynard is so awesome. He has, you know, he would give Mark a run for his money, if you know what I mean. And Maynard is huge. And he's a mama's boy. He's really sweet. Really fucking pure soul. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a TI. And he's like one of the people who, when he's in the mental hospital, he's like, can I please stay longer? I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And I love the name Maynard. That's a really incredible name. And you can tell, you see the quality of Maynard. You know he has good parents. And then we had this other guy, Daniel, who was a sneaky little weasel. A dirty little weasel. He ran to me. I was talking about Socrates. And he comes up to me in the elevator. He runs to the elevator to give me a quiz on Socrates to embarrass me in front of Elizabeth. And I say, I don't know anything about Socrates. I don't even know who he is. Like I'm just trying to look cool or something, like when I bring up Socrates. And, you know, I was like, get me as bad as you want. Now, Socrates' wife would dump boiling water on his head, and he wouldn't even care. Her name was Zentapa. And fucking, that's a nice name. And Socrates is a nice name. But Daniel, that little fucking twerp, you know, we were at the Krabby Joe's, and Daniel's like a university professor or something. And I'm talking about controlling the weather. And he's like, that you can't do that. You can't control the weather. That's confirmation bias. You know, I'm talking about this with the Asmina too. And talking about how you never know what the day is going to be, and the weather changes, and it's changing based on your reality tunnel that you're in. And I'm asking Lisa, I'm like, do you ever control the weather? And she's like, I used to think I can, but now I'm on meds. And Lisa's really awesome. She's like, don't put your Coke there. She like yells at me. I'm like, thank you for being a clear communicator. Thank you for not being passive aggressive. You know, and she had a native Indian boyfriend. And I feel native Indian. You know, that's the thing that defines you as a native Indian is your native humor. Which native humor is whenever someone assumes something wrong, you just go with it. Someone assumes something wrong about you, you let them believe it's true. And you never tell them otherwise. Year after year, even if you're best friends, whatever they assume wrong about you, especially if they assume something negative about you, you go, yep, that's right. And you never let on that that's not right. And that's what native humor is. And so Maynard, we're hanging out after group with Elizabeth's little control freak sessions where she would have us all meet, all the co-facilitators. She'd have us meet after the group to talk about how we should rearrange the chairs, how we should face the chairs due north instead, like fucking Kathy Bates in Misery. She's like, yeah, I'm married and I want to control you because my husband goes out on tour all the time and I'm lonely. And I'm like, that's cool, Elizabeth. As long as you cheat, that's cool. But then don't get us killed either. You know, the first time she talked about something naughty on text, I was like, okay, we're done. You're going to get me killed. Your husband's going to fucking kill me. And then afterwards, I'm like, you know I lie, right? You know that I lie for my own comfort? Which meant, you know I do love you, and I would have liked to have said, yeah, that's amazing. But you did that with a paper trail. And I don't trust that at all. Okay, I'll assume your husband is a TI, and he has no idea. But you fucking leave a paper trail, and he's gonna fucking kill you. He's gonna kill me. Or you're gonna call me over to your house and have him kill me. You're gonna actually arrange it. Like this one movie that I watched. This fucking Cans or something. Like this guy puts an axe into the guy's head, right? The woman's husband puts an axe into his head right as he's coming. And then the husband comes, and then they cut the guy up and burn him and stuff. And they have a nice house. I'm like, this is like Elizabeth or Chelsea type stuff. Like, I wonder if they'd fucking kill me. But who knows? Who knows, really? Okay, I don't really think so. I think Elizabeth really did have good intent, but like super entitlement. Like, she would have just kept me as a secondary boyfriend. You know, it's like, what am I supposed to do? Now, she has a really nice body. She's about 10 years older than me. I never felt any age gap with her. I was like, Elizabeth, I would fuck the shit out of you. But, you know, but nothing. And so we're hanging out in Elizabeth's torture session after the group, where we just talk about completely nothing, and everything is completely irrelevant, and we have to stay after group for an extra 30 minutes just to discuss completely irrelevant things that don't mean anything. Like, here's what Elizabeth's mindset is. We get these cups to give the group members water. And the fucking cups are from the dollar store. And I go and buy the cups. And they're nice. They're fucking green and they're blue. And they're really nice cups. And I wash them really nice. And I get all the water for everyone. And I'm really proud of this. And there's other people in the building who use this staff kitchen. And she leaves a note on the cups that says, this is for 7 to 9 p.m. Thursday group only. No one else used these cups. And I'm like, are you crazy? Okay, if you want people... Osho had a story about this where people kept peeing on this building, and they wanted them to stop. So they put a sign, no peeing on this building, and then everyone started peeing on it. And like, when she put a sign out that said, don't use these cups, like a snarky sign, like these cups are for this group only, I was like, everyone is going to be using these cups now. You might as well have said, fuck you for using these cups, and you better not use them or I'm going to be really mad. Now, am I trying to do that with Dance Girl? Like, Dance Girl, you better show up on our date, or I'm going to be really mad. Like, trying to sabotage it? I hope not. Okay, I hope not. I'm not trying to do that. And fucking, we're hanging out after the group in the torture session, you know, talking about how we should rearrange the chairs for 20 minutes. And I had been to the Krabby Joe's with Daniel, who knows I'm vegan. And he's like, reluctantly, embarrassing me, humiliating me, reluctantly offering me some of his milkshake. I'm like, Daniel, you know I'm fucking vegan, don't you? Okay, don't I always bitch and punish everyone for not being vegan every week? Okay, don't I always complain that everyone's not vegan? No, maybe I was pulling an Elizabeth. And Maynard, during one of our torture sessions, Maynard is like, everyone loves Daniel. I was like, not me, that little fucking twerp. Okay, I can't stand that guy. He's a little fucking twerp. But he was nice too. He had his moments. Like, he talked about standing up for human rights in his university setting, like telling people how it is, kind of like how Dr. House does in one episode, where he yells at one of the professors. Like, he had like one of those kind of moments. I thought, I'll bet Daniel's trying to pull a Z-Bubs over here. He's trying to compete with me, and then he can't do it in the group, so he does it in his own element. Daniel was okay. But, with a name like Daniel, I don't think you got much. Okay, a name like Daniel, that's a pretty defeated name. That's a defeated name. Now, this is gonna shock you a little bit, okay? But I'm gonna tell you that the name David, that's a good name. David is a good name. Now, Dave, not so much, but David, that's a very powerful name. And you might think, Daniel, David, what difference does it make? Well, do you remember in Prometheus, David? Okay, was that like an acronym or something? Artificial voice intelligence dude? I don't know. But David is a nice name. Okay, honestly, if I had a baby, I would name them David and Xeno. I would literally name my baby Xenomorph. Could you imagine naming your kid Xenomorph? Imagine gang stalking your own kid and naming them Midwit. Could you imagine gang stalking your own kid by naming them something fucked up? How crazy that would be? Oh my god. Now, Kayla, is that a good name? Yeah, that's a good name. What else? What other names do we have here? Joanne. Yep. Oh yeah, that's a good one. And she's a tomboy too. Now, do you know who a very balanced? Okay, never mind. I don't want to go into this. But I'll say it because you want to know what I was thinking. You know who a very balanced pig is? Pita Pit Blonde. She's an extremely balanced person. She's a falcon. And, if she was a car, her handling would be as good as her speed. She would be a Toyota Tercel or something like that. She's very balanced, very middle of the earth type person. Now, okay, well, never mind. I don't want to go into that kind of talk. And it's okay. You can let me have that. You can let me make a mistake and not have to go into it. But do you want to know what I was going to say, or are you going to punish me? Because if you're going to punish the truth, you don't deserve it. So do you want to know? Or do you want me to just move on and say that was a mistake to go into that topic? It's your choice. Okay, you want to know. If you don't want to know, cover your ears. And it's not my fault. Joanne is the most cowardly pig. She's an extremely cowardly pig. I still love her. But Joanne is a really good name because she's like a tomboy. And it's almost like her parents knew what she was going to turn out to be. And of course, with men are cowards. Men are cowards. And so, you couldn't blame her for having an ambiguous, androgynous name. But what kind of name does Dance Girl have? Well, Dance Girl, but what did her parents name her? Nell? That'd be a good one. I'm not being facetious here. Fucking. What about Alex? Yep, that's a good one. One guy who uppercutted me in the nose, his name is Terry. Another guy who poked me in the eye, his name is Alistair. I'm sure his parents had heard of Alistair Crowley. What about Anton? Yeah, so-so. Mid-tier names. But the thing is, if you're Daddy Jack, okay, what about Jack? Yep, fuck yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. If you're Daddy Jack, you don't have to make something fancy. You can make plain food. You can just make sausage and eggs or whatever, and you can master that. You know, if you're having a basic name, you know, David or Jack, you don't have to be named like Zentepa or something to have like a special name. You know, you could just be named David, but you couldn't be named Daniel. Now, what about Danny or Dan? What about Fran? My grandma's name is Fran, and she's pretty frantic. Okay, Manic Fran. Yeah, Fran is Francis. I used to call her Francis the Talking Mule. Fran is a good name. Yeah, Fran is a really good name. And her husband's name is Eric. That's a good name too. Like in the X-Men. Now, what about my mom's name? Catherine. Kathy. Yeah, it sounds like catheter a little bit. But yeah, Kathy, it's a good name. It's a good name. Okay, I don't think it's as good as Zach. I think I am the most well-liked person in my family. I'm like the favorite of everyone. So it should be that I have the best name. But Helen would be Helen could give me a run for my money. And same with Dawn and Nanette. What about the name Nanette? Do you like that? How many Nanettes have you ever met? And you know who Nanette looks like? German hips. Nanette has some of that going on. And if for anyone who doesn't know, German hips is this pig by the TSD trails who has like 70-inch hips and like 30-inch waist. Crazy fucking proportions. Now I'd still take Dance Girl. You know, I'm still with Dance Girl. Okay, I'll take Dance Girl over all those pigs. But I mean, I'd like to know their names. What if Dance Girl's name was Brittany? No, hell no. Okay, that's not okay. That is not okay. And what about Seth? Yep, Seth is a good name. What about Tess? Yep. Okay, Seth and Tess. Now the problem is those names are going to be aged. You know, you can tell that Sherry is a boomer. Okay, by writing Sherry and Terry, you're saying, or Sherry and Chris, you're saying we're boomers. You're saying we dare you to get. Really, I think that if Sherry and Chris are TSD and TSM, they really needed to get raped for real. They're like, we need to get raped. Please get us raped because we're so tired of fucking each other. And we want to fuck our offspring so bad, and we just can't because people are watching. And, you know, please get us raped. Please. You know, I really, honest to God, think that's what they're saying. What about Brandon? Well, I got punched in the face by a Brandon, but Brendan is a nasty name. You got big problems if your name is Brendan. But what would I name my kid? I don't know. Darwin? Because he fucked his cousin and had kids with her? No. Fucking, I don't know. Okay? I don't fucking know. But what kind of name is Darwin anyway? You know, can you imagine the irony of Darwin having Darwin's kids dying from being mongoloids? I mean, that's the level of our society, where the Darwin Awards is a double ironic book. Like, the first page is Darwin's own kid died of being mongoloid. How many people know that about Darwin? What about Murphy? Okay, apparently Murphy's Law didn't come true with Darwin. Yeah, whatever. Murphy, wouldn't be my... Is that RoboCop's name? I wouldn't name my kid Murphy. That's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. I just thought that the microphone wasn't even plugged in. I'm gonna lose subscribers for this. Not because I'm saying anything bad, but because who wants to hear someone talk about names? Well, if Dance Girl and I get married, I'm not accepting any motorcycle gift from Louise. Okay, that's a give it to red hair. If you're only giving me a gift once I marry someone, I don't want your gift. You know, I don't want your bribes. I don't like bribes. And yeah, I don't know. Let's ask ChatGPT what some good names are. What about Dance Girl? I was thinking like refrigerator. Like literally name your kid refrigerator. Or just something like that Elon Musk would do. Like something so insane that it's like completely insane. Give me some good baby names. My girlfriend and I have been having trust issues and we are making up and want to feel romantic. So say good names. Dawn? Okay, this thing is fucking stalking me. Jonah. You sound like a fucking retard. Okay, you sound like a fucking retard. Obviously, we know that Jess's son's name is Jonah. Nova. Okay, it sounds like you read the Bible and actually believe it's literally true. Nova, meaning, and if you believe the Bible is literally true, that means you're a psychopath. Okay, that means you're looking to commit war crimes on people and then go to a priest and say, guess what I did? I'm forgiven, right? Okay. Okay, that means you're to be feared. That means you're a fucking, but I like Jess, okay? When Jess was sad, I'll literally start crying. If Jess will cry, I will cry. Okay, I do love Jess, I have to say. Even though she stalked me to Walmart, I don't think she was happy with me at that point. Okay, lots of people are retards, including people I love. But you know who else wanted to name their kid after a Bible character is Marina. I was like, that is so fucked. Okay, that is anti-religious. God did not write the Bible. Okay, God was written by humans. God doesn't exist. God is a projection of your ego. And if you don't know that, you're not even connected to God. Honestly. There's nothing I hate more than a fucking godless person. And what does God hate most? A hypocrite. And so if you're a hypocrite, you're putting false gods before God. So your idea of God is not God. Okay? And so let's see. Asher. Yeah, I know a guy named Ash. He's crazy. Ash is all right, but not that best. Not that good. Iris. Okay, what are you, 90? Juliet. You know who I really loved was this guy named Ben. His girlfriend was named Julia. And he took me to his cottage. He was going to be a lawyer. He was from a family of lawyers. He fucked his girlfriend once in the bathroom. And, I was sitting right outside. And she was so fucking hot. She had no tits and the biggest, plumpest ass you've ever seen. And a gorgeous face. Just, oh my God, it just hurt how beautiful she was. And he had, and my friend Jordan and I were in the pool, or in the fucking lake with her, and she's like on the dock, and we're like, oh my God, like we're like growling like dogs, like just like laughing at how funny it was. We used to have the sickest sense of humor. We'd be like, hey, what's up, you pig? You gonna let us do what we want? You gonna make us do what we want? And like we just had like the fucking we had really inappropriate humor. You know, we would say that to like a punching bag as we're punching it. And Jordan was a drummer on steroids. He was really hot. He was like super hot. He always had issues. Like he was a super drama queen, super fucking drama queen. Always fighting with his pigs. And you know, he had an affair with one of the girls. I worked at this camp called Camp Kodiak, and he had an affair with one of the girls who was a cook or something, and she was like 17 and he was like 19, and it was legal. She wasn't a camper. I mean, had she been a camper, it would have violated some kind of law. But he was within his rights. And Dave, the owner of that camp, Camp Kodiak, he called Jordan in and he said, "Do you have anything to tell me?" And Jordan was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then Dave started screaming at him, "You know what you did?" And I don't know if he got fired or what, but that camp, you know, Dave was fucked up. And I had a really long, like a girl who had been there many, many years. And I said to her, she was a very balanced person. She's not someone who talks shit about anyone. She was a co-counselor. Like she was one of the counselors in our cabin. And I said to her, "Is Dave a good person?" And she's like, "I'm not going to say he's not, but I'm not going to say he is either." And, you know, I was playing guitar for her and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's really cool. I really love the Red Hot Chili Peppers." And it was a song I made up. I'm like, "Check out this song I made up." And she's like, "Oh, that's really nice. I really love the Red Hot Chili Peppers." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to play you 100 other songs with these same chords. And I'm going to show you that you can literally play the same chords and it's the same fucking song for every fucking song. Okay, I'm not copying the Red Hot Chili Peppers." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And Jordan is a good name. But, you know, Dave, like I said, not a good name. And you know what Dave named his dog? Tandem. Their dog's name was fucking Tandem. Are you kidding me? And then what about Elise? You know, that's a good one. Okay, so let's see. Leo? Nope. Grace? Ethan? Nope. Alexander? Let's say more weird names. None of these are good. Cosmo, Orion, Andromeda, Zephyr, Solaris, Soren, Cassian, Caspian, Lumi. Oh, Lumi's nice. A minimalist, unique name that means snow in Finnish. Lumi. Yeah, that one could work. Lumi. Django, Echo, Onyx, Clove, Sylvan, Rune. I know a guy named Rune. He fucked my pig in Sweden. And I helped him do that too. I was like, "She really likes you." I told her, "I don't care." And then she did, and I was like, "Fuck you." I realized I was very unethical at that point. I realized I actually was a hypocrite and I actually was jealous. And anyway, and he had Dwar Holmes cologne, and he would always be like, "Do you want to smell my cologne? Do you want to try some? Like, I just got this. It was like $200. It's amazing." I was like, "Oh my God, that's the best cologne I've ever smelled." Like, I was into Jean Paul Gaultier, or maybe not yet. I hadn't found Jean Paul Gaultier yet. And then I was into Orange Satsuma and Vanilla. And this girl, Kelsey, she was really nice. Kelsey was fat. A very earthly girl. You know, very beautiful too. Very approachable, very easy to talk to, very cute. You know, even though she's fat, she's very, just a really like a wholesome brown-eyed girl, like that type. And Kelsey said, "You smell disgustingly good. Like, you smell too good. You're not supposed to smell like that as a guy." I was like, I spent so much time crafting this, doing vanilla plus orange satsuma. I think I may have had Jean Paul Gaultier by that time. And I would like to have Jean Paul Gaultier clothes. If I was rich, I'd be buying Jean Paul Gaultier clothes. They're so cool. And I'd be getting them used on eBay. And I thought, if I had that much money, would I really just be not even caring? It's just like, yeah, that's just what I wear, Jean Paul Gaultier. I mean, I'd be so well dressed. You know who I dreamt about is SRMBG. I was in line for something, and he was there with his family, and they just butted in line in front of me. I kind of wondered if he's kind of a big guy on campus. He's talking about how he got all his kids video games, and he's like, and I got 2. He's like, imagine a dad saying that. He's like, all my kids got a video game, but I got 2. You know, isn't there just something a little bit weird about that? And he has a 15-year-old daughter, and she ran away. He's like, today I woke up, SRBG. Today is Wednesday, April 15th, and my 15-year-old daughter is missing. Yep, it's true. I've been looking everywhere, and I don't know where she is. She's been gone for a day. And I'm like, I'll bet you ran away because you're impossible to deal with. He talked about how everyone who had something to do with his brother's death is now gone, if you know what I'm saying. He said it like that. If you know what I mean, they're all gone. Anyone who had anything to do with it, they're all gone, if you know what I mean. Now, he may have been saying God did that, but he said his brother is also a murderer. And it's like, okay, you know, maybe they're, and an indiscriminate murderer. He talked about saving someone's life. He's like, my brother's here, he's going to kill you. You got to get out of here. And just because you're associated with the wrong crowd, just because you know the wrong people, my brother's going to kill you, and you actually got to leave right now. And he's like, this guy hopped up, ran over the fence, never came back. And he's like, I got some spirit points for that, for saving that guy's life. I told my daughter that, how that's how you get those big spirit points, and how I get spirit points for not abandoning you, that I don't do drugs, you know, I stay here as a good father. And I was like, I would bet I would run away too if I was living with that guy. Even though he's really cool. You know who he made fun of? He made fun of Enoch, the freestyle prince. He's saying that Enoch, the freestyle prince, sold his soul to the devil. But if you go to Enoch, the freestyle prince's channel, Enoch is fucking blinged out. He's like one of the best rappers I've ever heard. He's like fucking as good as Andre 3000. He's literally Andre 3000 level. And Enoch doesn't get that many views, but he'll out-ratio SR and BG any day. And Enoch is like not making that much videos anymore, you know, and just the look on his face, SR and BG is like, look at the look on his face. He's broken. He sold his soul to the devil. And it's like, I don't think you know that. You know, what you're saying doesn't even really make sense. But SR and BG, he's one of those guys, like I asked my dad, what would happen if there was no government? And he said, people will flock to who's ever the strongest, not who's ever the most right. And SR and BG reminds me of one of those people. You know, SR and BG, he's like, today I started wondering, was Jesus gay? No, I'm serious. I'm starting to wonder if Jesus is gay. And does that mean he's going to heaven? You know, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know, clearly, who gives a fuck? You know, you think the longest someone's ever died and then came back to life is like 8 hours. But you think someone could die for fucking 3 days and then come back to life? Like, are you crazy? And of course he's gay. He talks to a bunch of dudes. He's a closet schizophrenic homo. What does it matter about going to heaven? You know, what do you know of heaven? You don't know heaven. You should admit that you don't know what heaven is. And so, but his name is Wormwood. SRMBG's name is Wormwood. At least that's what he calls himself. I don't know what kind of name that is. Now, what about Bill? Yeah, That's an okay name. I don't know. Bill. It's so blunt. It's too blunt. It's like a sawed-off shotgun. Bill. I gotta get a new song here. And Phil? No. William? Yeah, William's nice. Willis? Willie? I think Jamie was right. Willie is a bit ridiculous. Okay, but you know, when the dog is acting like that, what else can you call him but Willie? But otherwise he's Willis. You know, but when he's sticking his nose where it shouldn't be, then... But then Topher. I have a friend, Topher. No, that's a really torrid name. And Xander? Xander's name is Alexander, but he hates going by Alexander. I'm like, okay, calling yourself Xander? Are you like trying to be Vin Diesel in that movie? Okay, that's a bit ridiculous, but Xander's all right. That's a nice name. And Xena? Yeah. Topher? No, that's not a good name. It's terrible. That's a horrible name. Topher? You sound like a gopher. That's horrible. You know all the associations that your mind would make? That's like a pattern interrupt. Probably because Topher's name is so horrid. That's why he's so great. Because his name literally serves as a pattern interrupt. So he can only talk to people's unconscious. So he has more weight. Atlas? No. Eris? Cillian? Lilith? Fern? Earthy? None of these are good. Do you want me to lean towards a more earthy, natural vibe? Yes, earthy. Simple, beautiful, and cosmic, maybe. I don't want too much cosmic, like Moonstar or something. Gaia, these are also stupid. Terra, Sol, Rhea. Oh my god. Yeah, never mind. Lyra, Nova, Lo, Vega, Zenith. These are all fucking... Moss. Faye Reagan, I think she is gang stalked. She did like 50 Guy Cream Pie videos. And I really like Faye Reagan. Reed, Ivy, Flint. Okay, no, none of these hit. Change it up. What about Dance Girl? I'd literally name my kid Dance Girl. Name her after her mom. Jax? Like literally. I would literally say your name, like one word, Dance Girl. Lux, like that's so next level. Could you imagine how next level that is? Or literally naming your kid like Zach's kid. Can you imagine? Zach's son. That's literally what your name is. I mean, can you imagine how fucking funny that would be? I mean, do you think honestly, if you tried to do that, someone you'd legally get stopped? Like you couldn't name your kid like a cunt. You know, legally someone would stop you from doing that. What about like Zach's son? I thought you spell it Zaxson or just Zaxxon. You know, and they're a TI, and you don't even tell them. And Zach is like, I don't know, not the father who thinks he's the father. Cruz, Zane. Okay, that's Cash's kid's name. Cash is a nice name. Otis, Silas. I know a guy named Silas. He fucked a stripper. He's pretty cool. He wasn't that cool, though. But he was cool. Jude, Milo, or I'm liking Lumi the best. Now, you might think, what about Luna? That's kind of where you're going with that, aren't you? Lumen? Lumi's all right. Rorschach, no. There was some girl, she's a real bitch in Sweden. Her name was like Rorschach or something. I know there's the Rorschach test, but it wasn't that. And her name meant light in Iranian or something. And my little friend Eddie, he was like, she's a real bitch. You don't even know. She's really bad. There's Milo, Erza, Bowie, Roxy, Zev, Kit. Name your kid Kit. How about normal names? Dance Girl's daughter. Dance Girl's Pigs owner's pig's daughter. James, Benjamin, Lucas. I know a Lucas. I know two Lucases. William. Daniel. Yuck. Strong but familiar name. Fuck you. Emma. Olivia. Yeah, Olivia's nice. Sophia. Yep, that's good. Charlotte. Nope. Lily. Yeah. It's kind of a cult name. Lilith is a cult figure. Like the devil or something. Jack. Max. Nope. We're not going to do Max. Mia. Nope. Leo. Nope. Ava. Yeah, Ava. Yeah, maybe. But probably not. Any more? Big long list. All kinds of names. Now, what would the best moment of Dance Girl's life be? Getting cummed in while she's getting pregnant? Or finding out she's pregnant? Or having a baby? Or adopting a baby? Or getting married to me? I mean, and if you say, well, it's getting cummed in to have a baby, and like with belief that you're going to have a baby, it's like it combines everything. It's like you get pleasure, you get validation, you feel like a god, you feel like you're changing the course of history. Now, it's interesting that Dance Girl's parents have 3 children of different ages. And you could say that TSD family had their oldest kids at the same time that Dance Girl's family had their oldest daughter. And then they both waited a little while. And then again, together, they had kids. Now, could you say that one of those families is controlling the other one? Like there's a copycat family? Like, well, the Barringtons did it in Family Guy. Like anything the Pewterschmidts do, it's just because the Barringtons did it first. Could you say that TSD family is the Barringtons and Dance Girl family is the Pewterschmidts? And now TSD family is really mad at Dance Girl family because TSD is Chris, and they got put in hell. And they blame Dance Girl family because Dance Girl was instrumental in their getting targeted. Especially Dance Girl was instrumental in having Blonde Girl take TW in front of me, which is like a kill shot for TSD family. And so now they're like, fuck you. Now they're like, fuck you both. You know, TSD is like, fuck Dance Girl family and fuck Z-Bub's family. And Dance Girl Grandpa is part of TSD family, but he's like on Dance Girl's side. He's like he's the bridge between them. I was teasing Dance Girl's grandpa. I was like, is Sherry your daughter? And did she get cummed in by a guy like Mark? And, you know, and now their iPad is loaded with CP. And so, anyway, here we go. Some names here. Olivia Oliver, yep. Oh, what about Todd? Yeah, Todd is a fucking good name. Todd Jacob. Oh, Jacob, that's a good name too. Noah. Oh, you know what? Jess's son may have been named Noah, not Jonah, which is even gayer. That's super gay. When Marina was like, I want to name our kid Ezekiel, I was like, you're a full fucking retard. You're a full fucking retard. But you're as ungodly as they get. You're as anti-religious as they get. You're completely secular. Okay, you're not spiritual at all. Okay, you're the most unspiritual person I've ever met. And I'm like, I don't know if I am really, really clever and I got you to dump me for the thing that I'm actually dumping you for. Like Darren Brown, he tries to get people to say a certain phrase. He's like, I primed you to say a certain word. I'm like, I primed you to dump me for the exact reason I'm dumping you. Okay, Henry, Harry, Owen, no, Samuel, Thomas, Jacob, yep. Caleb, fuck you. Nathan, yep, Nathan's a good one. Andrew, nope. Ryan, yep. Chloe, yeah. Emily, yeah. Hannah, maybe. Sarah, don't think so. Ella, yeah, I think that's Dance Girl's name sometimes. Ellie, yeah, Dance Girl could be an Ellie. Abigail, no, I don't think so. Grace, no. Zoe, yeah. Maya, maybe for a dog. Short Punchy, Kai, Cole, Finn. Chelsea's brother's name is Quinn. That's a nice one. Jude, Chelsea's a good name too. Jude, Milo, Nico, Enzo. Levy. These we've already been through some of these. Isla, the She-Wolf of the SS. Hazel, Jade, Sienna, Zara, Ren, Arthur. Fuck, I don't like Arthur. Noah and Arthur, I don't like him at all. George, Louis, Walter, Oscar, Felix, Victor, Theodore, Gideon, Jasper. Now, Jasmine is a nice name. Evelyn Stone is one of my favorite porn stars ever. Clara, Alice, Iris, Cora, Violet. Violet's a nice name. And, I won't say whose name that is just for privacy reasons. Eleanor, not that it matters, but Eleanor, Beatrice, Hazel, Penelope, fucking Soren. I think I've been through most of these names. Willow? Oh, now Willow Smith, Will Smith's daughter, sang a cover of Paradise Circus, and she was just screaming like a buffoon. She couldn't have embarrassed herself more. And let's see. Kayla, Astrid, Sage. Yeah, Sage is good. Kind of. It might be a little ridiculous. Rhiannon, Ophelia, Axel, Jax, Zev, Knox, Maverick. Wilder? Are you joking? Wilder? You're serious. You're going to name your kid Wilder. Kingston, Dash, Fox, Electra, Raven, Blair, Zelda, Jet. Okay, fuck these names. Okay, I'm naming my kid Dance Girl's daughter, Zach's son. Z-Bub's son, Dance Girl's daughter. That's what your names are. Okay, that's so next level. That is so next level. Just name them gang stalking exists. Name them targeted individual. Even if they're a gang stalker. Name them gang stalker. Hamed is a good one. I like Hamed. I named him Precious. But he Americanized his name by calling himself Eddie. And then Esbjorn, he's a Swedish guy, and his Sigbjorn brother. I was talking about them before I got the watches. I was like, ooh, they're so hot. They're so fucking hot. They're like some of the hottest guys ever. And then Neil, that's a really good name. No, I don't think I'd like the name Neil, except I know a guy named Neil who's so cool. And he's scared. He was like robotically disciplined. So disciplined. Someone told me once that they were at the beach or something and he was in dress clothes and he had to do his running. So he just started like sprinting through people on the beach wearing a full dress suit, like almost running into people. And this guy's like a millionaire. Like this guy was a millionaire by age 18. And he's like fucking RoboCop for real. He's like, oh, time to do my sprinting in a fucking dress suit on the beach. And then we had this this hypnotist guy come in and give us like this lecture that Neil arranged for us. And he said the thing I like about Neil is if the world isn't the way that Neil wants, he just bends the world. He's like, eventually the world is going to do it the way Neil wants. And I don't know. There was something cool about it. It wasn't like arrogant or something. It was like, yeah, like he sees it his own way. And he was really big on the education system. He was like, the education system is really fucked and it needs to change. And I was like, I don't even know what that means, but coming from you, I trust it, because anything you say, I trust. And I tried to get cheaper rent from him, and he was already subsidizing it by like over $3,000 a month. Like I would have had to pay $4,500 a month to live there, and he let me live there for $1,000 a month. And I asked him to give it to me even cheaper, and he fucking got so angry. And that was like level 2. I saw him actually get angry at someone, and he was like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like I can't even do it, but like the way he screamed it, it was like, holy fuck. And the guy who he did it to was so traumatized by it, he actually couldn't talk after. Like he's like, like, because we all looked up to Neil, like he was like our dad, like, or like, you know, obviously my dad is more dad than Neil, but we really fucking loved Neil. Like Neil lived in Denmark, you know, and Neil is like the older brother. And Neil had a younger brother too. And I was like, do you feel like you're tired of just being Neil's younger brother? Oh, Sammy wasn't much, but you know, Neil's youngest brother named Nuno, he was the fucking best. He would fuck fat girls in the bathroom and at the bar, and he'd say it's good karma. And he was the one who taught me about how to get your girl to have an abortion. I used to think that Dance Girl had raped me and got pregnant. And I was like, Dance Girl, we need to have a baby. Because I wanted her to abort the baby. I was like, you gotta like abort this baby that you had, and then we'll have a baby later. And turns out now it's coming true. But at the time, I was thinking what Nuno had said, where he had this terrible pig who called him over for sex, who was like not gonna abort the baby, and she's like putting her kids to bed so she can fuck Nuno. And she's like this horny sleazeball who's holding him hostage with his baby. And he's like, the way I got her to have an abortion was I just started hugging her and holding her and telling her she's the best ever and that he's not ready to have a baby yet and that later on he's going to. And then she had an abortion, and he's like, as soon as she did that, I was like, I'll never fucking talk to you again. And Nuno was Nuno was the type of guy, he's like Yasmina. Have you ever seen Yasmina? Imagine Yasmina, but like a player, like a guy who fucks who fucks fat girls in the bathroom for good karma. And he was just so cool. And here's the type of guy he is. He's just walking down the street and he sees a random person and he goes up to them and he says, "Excuse me, I make music and I just saw your face and I had to show you my music." And he did that to someone, and it was actually a music producer or some, I don't know if it was like exactly what the story was, but it was something serendipitous where the guy was like, I can actually help you with this. Like, this is really good and this is really awesome. And then there was this other guy, the most hypnotizing guy I've ever met. His name was Abdul, but he changed his name to Charisma. And he was Neil's best friend. And Neil was like the shit, you know. Neil's first car was going to be a Lamborghini. Neil never had a car in his life. He's like, the first car I'm going to buy is a Lamborghini. And we had this beautiful, like, there were like 8 guys living there in this. Imagine an apartment big enough for 8 guys on the Square Lakes in Denmark. That's like the most rich area of Denmark. And each guy pays $4,500 a month to live there. And that was Neil's place. Neil lived there with his friend Martin, who Martin was a jerk. He like touched my face just to mog me. And I really didn't like Martin at all. But I put up with Martin just to know Neil. I did some freestyle rapping with Martin though. He liked that. And I don't really know why Martin touched my face. I think I kind of like roughhoused with Eric one time. He's the one who Neil yelled at. And Eric would go up to women like this, probably this woman who was like 50 or 60. And he asked her for directions. And he said after he asked for directions, he was doing NLP on her. And he says, "Are you thinking of a penis right now?" And she's like, "What?" Like she's like, "What the fuck?" And Eric would walk around yelling on the streets. He actually approached girls naked in the middle of Denmark. And I didn't have the guts to do that. I fucking wore my underwear. I was like, I don't have the fucking guts to do what this guy's doing. And I was roughhousing too much with Eric once, and he's like, "Okay, this is really bothering me. Like, I'm actually gonna fucking kill you now." And then afterwards, I was like, "Sorry, Eric." But I think Martin took revenge on me for that because they had a camera in the room or something. But, Eric and I, although we had that moment, we had dealt with it on our own, and Martin wasn't someone to step in. Eric and I were very close. And even though we had that one issue, that was the only issue we ever had. And I don't know. Eric had seizures though, or something. He's like, just so you guys know, something really fucked up is about to happen. And he'd be like spitting and like fucking shaking. And it was really fucked up. And then he moved to Thailand. And he'd be someone who would get fucking on fruit. He'd be someone who would figure that out. But this guy, Charisma, he just had so much hypnotic ability. And this hypnotist guy who came in to talk to us, I forget his name, he wasn't much. And we were friends with this other guy. There's a famous self-help guy in Denmark who was connected with these guys, and you would know him. Like he's famous all over the world, and he had an even nicer apartment than the one we were living in. But this fucking hypnotist guy said about Charisma. He said everyone you talk to is completely entranced. You literally put people in trance right away. And I had never been so entranced. I don't think my dad, he can put people in trance. He can do all that Darren Brown stuff. He can pay for things with fake money that's like pieces of paper. He could say, "You're going to accept this money as real money." And people say, "Okay, I'm going to do it." And they do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could see that on Darren Brown. But, so I never felt hypnotized by him. But with Charisma, I was like completely hypnotized. I was so hypnotized, and I thought I was gay. I was like obsessed with him. I was like looking at all his pictures. Like I couldn't stop. I was like, how does this guy do it? Like I can't stop thinking about him. He's so like, he's figured me out on every level. Like he's so beyond me. And that was like Neil's best friend. I was like, these guys are so fucking cool. Like these are like the coolest. Like these guys are so fucking cool. And I told my dad, I'm like, because I saw Neil's picture on Facebook. I was like, I need to meet that guy. I flew around the world to meet Neil. Do you want to talk about long shots? I took university in Sweden so that I could go to Denmark and meet Neil. I literally went overseas to do university just so I could meet a guy who I saw on a Facebook picture, because literally by the look of his face, I said, this is someone who I need to know. I'm someone who, if you're the best in the world, I need to know you. Osho's the same way. He's like, I will fly across the country to meet you. If I see you and I need to meet you, I'll fly across the world to meet you. And so I saw Neil. I said, I'm going. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. I get to Sweden, and I make like 50 videos for Neil, and I pick out the best one and I send him one. And I had barely ever talked to him. Maybe I'd add him on Facebook because he's a mutual friend of my dad. And he's like, at this point, he's 23 and I'm 24. I say, can I come meet you? I'm going to take a train from Sweden to Denmark. It's going to take me like 8 hours or something. And can I just meet you? And he says, yeah, sure. Come on over. And so he gives me the address. I have no idea. Like, they're living in a fucking, I think I may have seen their apartment. I don't know. They had some cribs video. They did like a cribs video. And they had a really nice apartment. I'm not sure if it was the one that we were living in. I think it was a different one. But I knew that they were like really cool, really rich, but really cool. Like, the rich part didn't matter. But they were successful young guys. How are they doing it? And so I take an 8-hour train to meet Neil. And I realize that he's younger than me. And he's like totally boss. I'm like this like beta sissy. I'm like a sissy beta. And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy is like this guy fucks the hottest pigs. This guy could kill me in a fight. Like, this guy is so cool. Like, this guy's the most alpha guy. Like, this guy's seriously alpha. Like, my dad is aloha. Like, my dad's not going to dominate you. My dad's more alpha than Neil. But Neil is like fucking, he shows you how alpha he is. Like, Neil's like, I'm going to show you how alpha I am. You're going to know that I'm the alpha here. My dad's not like that. So I tell him, okay, I'm in school for writing. I'm just here in Sweden. I really love you guys. And I'm to get to his place, I'm walking through the streets of Denmark and I have no idea where I am. And I have no idea where I'm going to sleep. Or I'm like, I have to go back to Sweden here. And I'm trying to find this fucking place. And I imagine just me being like this little beta sissy walking through fucking Denmark, a country, a city I've never been to before. And I'm scared to even walk down the street by myself. And I'm walking in a new country at night trying to find this fucking apartment. And I finally get there and I meet Neil. And I'm like I'm very impressed, genuinely. He can tell I'm like, I don't tell him. I literally flew across the world to meet you. Like, I literally arranged my school to be long distance overseas school just so I could meet you. I never tell him this, but he could read it he can sense it in my vibes that that's actually what happened. I saw you on Facebook. I'm super gay and I'm in love with you and I need to know you. Okay, that's not really the truth, but I'm like, that's like, I fucking need to know you. I have to know who you are. And so I say I went to college for writing. Now I'm in university for psychology. And he says, okay, I have these guys here who are living with me. They're all paying $4,500 a month. You can live with me. You can live here too. I'll charge you subsidized rent. You can pay $1,000 a month. And I want you to write me a book to kind of put into perspective what we're doing here. I want you to write me like the things that I'm having these guys do. I want you to put it into a manual so we can use it for other guys, because we're going to have all these different houses all over the world soon. And he had a tattoo on his forearm. That's why I have a tattoo on my forearm. And it said 1,000 academies by such and such date. Because he wanted to change the school system. So I go back to my shitty little fucking Karlstad University in Sweden. And I have my best friend Precious there from Iran. And Precious is all into this stuff. He's like from a really repressive place. And fucking, I say to Precious, you should come with me and live in an abandoned factory and do skip diving, which he does with a bunch of other people. I actually help him get his establishment there with all these people who we would go skip diving, and they had a whole hierarchy of people who lived in like little trailers. Each night there was communal cooking, and it was literally a huge factory the size of Loblaws in Cambridge, where I used to work. A huge fucking factory, abandoned, and maybe about 100 people living there. Some of them had trailers, and every night they would go and, someone's duty would be to go to the dumpsters and find a bunch of food. Someone's duty would be to clean. Someone's duty would be to do the dishes. And I was like, Precious, you should come with me, and you can live here, and you can meet me. You can walk an hour, and you can meet me in the center of Denmark, and we can go talk to pigs together with these guys in this fucking academy. And so I move into the academy, and I basically, they get an NFL player to come talk to us. Like they have like highfalutin people. Like Neil puts on a concert with Usher, which I just learned like by the side. And which I don't, I didn't see Usher, but I just hearing about that is cool. And like, how does Neil get a literal NFL player to come talk to us? Like, what kind of connections does this guy have? And the NFL player was stupid as fuck. He's like, my mom always said that thinking is one of the hardest things to do, and that's why people don't do it. And it's like, oh my God, why don't you just be more cliche? And Neil was doming the fuck out of this guy. Neil's like interrupting him. He's like, tell him about work ethic. Tell him about how much you practice. And the guy's like, well, anyway, my mom said that work ethic is... And Neil's like, okay, yeah, tell him about this. And tell him about that. like completely doming the guy. This guy has like no idea who Neil is. Like a fucking 23-year-old doming a fucking 35-year-old football player. A fucking NFL football player. Neil's like, you have no clue who I am. You think you're someone? You have no idea who I am. And then so finally I was like telling Neil, I was like, yeah, can we kind of cut the price a little bit? And he brought his anger up to level 2. I'll never forget that. I could hear how much fucking ferocity he had. Neil was the type of guy who, after I met him, I felt embarrassed for not stealing my bus tickets. Like, everywhere we walked, he would always power walk. And we would go on the trains, and he would be like, okay, like let's just let's just not pay for the train. And when I got home to Canada, I was always trying to go on this. In Kitchener, we have this like monorail type thing, and I was always embarrassed that I was too afraid to steal my ticket and just get on the train and get kicked off and get caught. And so he brought his anger up to level 2 with me, and I fucking felt that, and I was like, okay, I'm really sorry. Like, I'll pay you the full amount. You're right. And my dad, I said, what do you think of Neil? And he said, you would be wise to spend as much time with Neil as you can. And I was like, okay. And so then I did. And then later on, he was like, Neil fucking stood someone up for a ride. He asked someone for a ride, and then he didn't need it, and then he didn't even cancel with that person, which is kind of inconsiderate. And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't do that. Apparently Norm Macdonald would do that kind of stuff too. I had a college instructor who had known Norm Macdonald and said he was one of the fastest rising comedians. And he was like very calloused the way he'd treat people sometimes. And I kind of picked up on that with him when he did his stand-up about being vegan. He's like, yeah, I know you're right as a vegan. I just don't care. I know you're right. I just don't care. And I was like, yeah, I can sense that you believe that. And then he's also like, people feel guilty for having sex, and people don't believe they're going to die. And I was like, I also agree that that's true. But I think the reason they have guilty for having sex is that they don't really have love. They have love without sex. They have sex without love, I mean. So this is like seriously one of the hardest fucking levels. I'm really happy to be hanging out and talking here. Like, you know, it took me a while to get into the flow of things. It's hard if you just put on a camera. You feel like you're the Tin Man without oil. Nothing flows. Everything seems contrived. You have to talk for long enough that you forget the audience is there. And then somehow it's natural. Now, what about, was that really Dance Girl's grandpa and grandma on her paternal side? And, you know, trust your heart. Like, what does your heart say? My heart says that was them. Or if that was them, that they're saying, it's us. Okay, we're not Sherry and Terry, or we're not Sherry and Chris. We are your grandparents now. I was like, okay, I like your grandma and your grandpa. And yeah, you guys are great. Your grandma's a little bit more warm, but that's to be expected. And that's not an insult against your grandpa. That's how it's supposed to be. And fucking, you know, I really like Dance Girl Family, and I really hope that her parents aren't Sherry and Chris. That would be hard for me to forgive. But whatever, too, you know? Now, what about Chris? Is that a good name? Yeah, it's okay. What about naming our kids TSD? No, that's not good. Oh, what about Sam? You know, that's TSD's daughter's name. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good name. The full name isn't good. I had a cat named Sam. And Jasmine, that's a good name. You know, they do have some aesthetic taste. What kind of cars do they drive? They drive Fords. There was a Ford in the driveway. I think they had a blue Ford. Could you imagine how gay that is? You're like, oh my god, I'm TSD. My color is blue. Everything has to be blue. And then, like, by the end of the TSD trail, when I went on my foot torture walk, they had people wearing blue with red, as if to say, we're combined. We're all working together here. I'm like, I don't really trust anything you guys say. I wonder what happened. I wonder if TSD is my handler, or TSM, or TSMM. I wonder what happened between them and Dance Girl Family. It seems like something happened, and more than once. I wonder what kind of issues this is. You know, I wonder if they're listening right now. And if they are, why? Why would you be listening? You know? Ah, my fucking nose is itchy. Ashley is an okay name, but I don't think it's that good. Amanda, nope. Brittany, Caitlin. Caitlin's okay. Mark? Yeah, that's okay. Mark's a good one. Tommy? Yeah, Tommy's good. Oh, Travis? That's a good one. Helen is a very good one. That's something you name your firstborn. It's like, well, you got the best name. Fucking Derek? No, I don't think so. Eliza? Yeah, that's okay. Elias? I knew a guy named Elias. Topher fought him. He was a UFC fighter. Topher's like, guess who I fought? Elias. And Elias died of cancer. He was really nice. Topher fought him in the kitchen. He's like, Topher was like, I got fucking my ass beat. And then Topher fought Okami too. Topher fought a girl. She was kind of retarded, really. But she was really smart. I mean, she had really high IQ. But there was something kind of like, you know, her dad actually knew karate and had taught her karate. And she's like, I could easily kick Topher's ass. And Topher was like, you couldn't. And Okami was a big bitch. And she once like kind of stabbed a knife at me too. I was like, Okami, you're fucking nuts. And I opened up her diary once and it was saying something about a sad little meal for a sad little me all by myself. And I read that, and when she saw that I had read that, she fucking freaked. And then later she actually pulled out a knife at a bonfire and she started stabbing it at me. She wasn't going to hurt me, but you know, she was drunk too. I was like, oh, and she called herself Okappy on Facebook. Okami is a nice name. She was actually quite beautiful, if not for being fat. She had huge dick-sucking lips. The type who you could put your dick in her mouth without her opening her lips. Without her opening her mouth, you could slide your dick through her lips, even with a huge, thick dick, because her lips are so big. And she had nice skin. You know how sometimes fat girls have really nice skin? Like they're supple? Like they have a supple, soft fatness. Kind of like Kelsey. Well, you know, Okami was like, yeah, I can beat your ass, Topher. And Topher was like, okay, well, if you want to fight, I'll fight you. And then Topher just gave her Topher just beat the shit out of her. And it was like, oh my God, like, Topher's so cool. Like, how many guys would do that? And Okami was too. But, you know, people were like, oh my God, this is too much. Like, this is too fucked. And then later on in life, I was talking to Okami online, and she was very, very nice to me. She was very much like telling me she's a genius and kind of bragging, but also like there was some, you know, she was such a fat pig. I never actually thought I'd fuck her, but she had some recognition that we had a trust for one another. And, you know, when I read that, what she had written about like her sad little lunch on her sad little porch or whatever, her fucking, you know, you're going to think I'm talking about Kayla over here or something. I don't think Kayla's lonely like fucking Okami. Okay. I don't think Okami would have a family. Okami's not the type of person who would have a husband or a child. Or if she would, it would be, like a furry. Like she would have like a cosplay husband who's like seriously fucking weird. But Okami realized on some level that her and I had some kind of intimacy. And you know, but I didn't realize it. But, you know, on some level she was saying, I think we would fuck if I wasn't so fat and crazy and eccentric. And I was like, yeah, you know, you're fucking great, Okami. You're really weird. You're like a weird person. You're so weird, and you're really authentic. And she was quite beautiful. She really was quite beautiful. You know, she's the type of person who would be homeschooled. You know, very, very weird person, but like very based as well. You know, her poetry was actually really good. But you could just imagine when she's like basically like almost punching me for fucking for reading something so personal, that she's so humiliated. You know, she's like, this really fucking hurts. To you, I'm just, you know, a fat fucking weirdo. But to me, this is like the pain of my life here. Okay, this is not something for your entertainment. But I'm like, Okami, don't you think I get it too? Like, don't you think anyone who has intelligence hasn't considered killing themselves at least once? Okay, Osho says if you're intelligent, you'll definitely have come to the point of at least considering suicide at least once in your life. And, you know, don't you think that a lot of us feel this way? Like that no one understands us and everyone else is happy except for us? That everyone else is all right and we're all wrong? Don't you think everyone feels like that? I have to shave again. It's fucking itchy. So, yeah, I mean, was I a bad boyfriend today, like rubbing Dance Girl's nose in it? Maybe. Maybe. I think I'm trying to make it up here. Having extra long session for Dance Girl now. But at the same time, I was like, I actually feel like fucking... I have a few more things to unpack. What did she mean online about telling me about horses and mighty hands? And remember, Ursula's son, his friend, said if I would have used 2 hands, it would have killed me. Which they do it. They talk weird like that. You know, if they talk about hurting you, they'll say, oh, I hurt myself. You know, really, really fucking nasty. Really fucking nasty just so fucking cowardly. And I also had to unpack some other issue about Dance Girl, like, I forget what it was. Something I hadn't realized. But, I mean, it was heavy. Like, obviously, it was heavy for me, so it was heavy for her. And so, therefore, I need to bring things back down to, a nice level. And so that's why I'm doing this hangout session. This is something that Dance Girl and I both need. We both need to just hang out. Like, this is our date. It's not like a therapy session this time. It's like, this is our date now. Like, now that we had our fucking couples therapy, now it's time for us to have a date. And that's what tonight is. I was like, I miss you so much, Dance Girl. Like, when I saw you in my dream, I actually was so happy to wave to you. And I think your family understands that I love you. I think they actually can sense it. And I think you understand it too. I think you know it's true that I love you because you love me. And it goes both ways. And so I don't feel lonely now because I'm talking to you. I felt lonely tonight. I thought it was because you're a bad pig. But it's actually because I gave you a space sting. And now I didn't give you a loving. And I have to give you a loving after giving you a space sting so that you know I care. And so now I'm here to give you a loving. And so now I don't feel lonely anymore because I feel like a good boyfriend again. I felt like a really bad boyfriend today. I really did. I felt like a really bad boyfriend. I was like, you don't need to go into the past and remind her of all her mistakes. You don't need to do that. Because she's already aware. And remember too, that you're like, but it's not that I'm going into them again, it's that I had some other stuff I had to realize. Well, if that's true, just realize that other stuff. You know, you kind of went through a bunch of stuff that you've already been through just to get to that other part. But I kind of had to do that because I'm just a retard. Like, I had to, like, walk through it. Like, that's how I figure stuff out. I actually just walk through it. And then at some point I'm like, oh, right, okay, that's what was bothering me. There was that other thing that was bothering me, which I can't remember what it was anymore. But now I think I've gotten through them. Like, for our date, I have to be without any hidden resentments. There has to be no hidden resentments. And have I gotten to all of them? I believe I have, as evidenced by the fact that I'm having a good date. Like, now I don't feel lonely anymore. And I even have, like, my pussy is wet. You know, I don't have a boner, but I feel, you know, I'm getting, like, a lot of fucking sexual pleasure from my tack. Like, I'm, you know, I'm not, like, on the verge of coming, but I'm on like level 2, but I'm like Neil, you know what I mean? I'm like level 2 on not jacking off for a month. Like, I feel like my pussy is, my fucking pussy is fucking wet. It's fucking tingly. It feels amazing. You know, this is what love is. This is like what Tantra is. I feel contented. You know, I'm fucking turned on over here. And if Dance Girl was laying on top of me, it would be a bit sweaty, I have to say. It's already a bit sweaty just being here. So we'd have to go in the bath. Or have a cold bath and then have some cuddle time before we get too hot. I want to, like, fucking... I want to know what Dance Girl's sweat tastes like. And smells like. Oh, it would just be the very best thing in the world. It would just kill me. It would kill me. I've never wanted it so bad. Now the computer says that's a trauma bond. Yeah, whatever. Fuck off. Okay? If your girlfriend can't be evil, who can? You know, that's why the laws exist. You don't have to rat on your partner. Okay, you're supposed to let your partner be evil. But she's not evil. Dance Girl's not evil, okay? I shouldn't say that. And I really mean it. I'm not just paying lip service. I really mean it. I really do love Dance Girl and trust Dance Girl because she's a good person. And who the fuck wants to break us up? Oh my god, get over yourself. I'm pretty sure the girl in a bathing suit was wearing a black bathing suit too. Or a dress even. She may have been wearing a dress. And thrown in the pool underneath. They send this commercial of someone injecting a needle into an apple and then a girl falling in a pool and you see her from underwater and she has black hair, of course. And I think she's wearing a black dress. And it's like, are you threatening my pig? That's my pig. Well, you know, I don't think Dance Girl's family is helpless. You know, but if someone is able to threaten them repeatedly, that's still fucked up. But I get threatened 1,000 times a day. You know, I'm just like, by this time I don't even care. Yeah, like, at this point it just looks like money laundering. Like, it looks like you're just, I don't know, it just looks petty or something. But I think, God, what happened? This is clearly beyond, this is clearly a vendetta. Someone's really fucking pissed over here. What happened? Well, you can infer that that TSD got targeted, that his family got targeted, and now he's really mad. He's like, hey, we're better than you, we're not allowed to be targeted. It's like, TSD, your issue is not that you're targeted, it's that you're targeted, it's what you're targeted for. Your kids will be fine. If your kids are targeted, they might have, like, you know, something happen that if I say it, YouTube will delete the channel. That's not like a threat or something, obviously. I don't want that to happen. Okay, I love your kids. I'm just saying, like, as someone who's targeted as a kid, you might get the odd gang stalker who's gonna do something bad. But in general, the reason why you're upset that you're targeted is because you're targeted for doing really bad things. And that means that any gang stalker now has the right to do anything they want to you. And I'm like, didn't you earn that? Like, why would you be mad at me and Dance Girl for that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, can't you just accept defeat? I guess not. I guess you're just bitter to the end. Now, if that's even TSD there, you know, if maybe it's TSM. And of course, we know that TSD was disapproving of some of Dance Girl's really bad behavior, you know, but still, I mean, Dance Girl was level 10 bad, and you were a level 5 bad, but Dance Girl was still just a baby in a sense. She may have been 16, you know, but I don't know. I told you guys right from the beginning, I'm gonna target you. I said it like literally instantly. What size pills are in your bottle? On the cabinet to the left, in your bathroom cabinet, the prescription pills that you have, what size are those? And how many do you have right now left in your bottle? That was my saying, we also have eyes in the back of our head and you're getting targeted too. So stop fucking me. Don't ever fuck me, Tony. You're like, this guy's a fucking retard. We're just gonna fuck you to death. I'm like, you just did the equivalent of America bombing a girls' school. You are not going to win the fucking public debate, and you think you are. You have the self-awareness of an Israeli soldier, and I'm warning you for your own safety as someone who is not insane and doesn't enjoy violence, that if you get targeted, you're gonna have a whole different fucking life than I do. And don't try and say, well, I'm just mad that you got my kids targeted. No one wanted to get your kids targeted. No one's gonna be punishing your kids. And I've been punished for your fucking crimes. No one had sympathy on me. I wouldn't wish that on you, by the way. I would never wish that on you. Torture, literally being tortured endlessly, I would not wish that on anyone. There's no, it's not scientific to do that. Okay, it just makes everything worse. Torturing a handler and then the handler takes it out on someone else, you know. I mean, do you think that God doesn't punish people? Like, you know, like you're like, oh, okay, I'm not going to torture him. I'm not going to torture TSD. Well, doesn't your own actions torture you? Like if your life falls apart by your own hand? I mean, it's almost compassionate to torture someone, because then when their life falls apart by their own hand, they can at least say it's someone else's fault. But I mean, I've had some wonderful mentors. I've had some like really fucking next level mentors. And so by the time I come back to a little piece of shit fucking retard city like this, a little fucking hick town of bent up retards who the biggest flex this town has is we don't put fluoride in our water. We don't put sodium we're really smart in Waterloo. We have RIM. We're like the science capital of the country. We don't put industrial waste product in our water. That's what we have. We let people drink water without poison in it. And that means that this is like a really next level progressive city. By the time I come back to this little fuckhole, this little fucking slop hole fucking shit town, I'm like, do you even know where you are? Like, you work at Humber. You work at Humber. You work at Humber College. Okay? Give me a break. Give me a break. Have you ever traveled? Have you ever met people who make you shake? Have you ever met people who make you shake? Like, you know, you haven't had anything. You haven't had any experience. You have no mileage. Okay? You're a coward. You've never had any experience. You're an adult baby. And you can't even recognize a dragon. I'm like a fucking dragon. And, you know, it's hard for people to realize, you know, especially Joanne. You know, she's like, I'm a dragon too. I'm like, Joanne, you're an eel. Okay, you have wings. You're a hybrid. Okay, you're like a chicken and an eel combined. That's not a dragon. Okay, she's like, but I'm beautiful. I'm like, okay, being an idiot fucking retard son named Joe doesn't count for much. There are a lot of really good looking pigs who are empty and vacuous. Like there are a lot of really loser billionaires. Okay, there's a lot of loser billionaires who, if you were to meet them, you'd go, ew. Ew. That's just what I heard, but I got it from a good source, okay? I got it from a good source. But I know, because I can infer, I've seen enough rich people that I'm like, if you were poor, you'd be just like the grossest homeless person ever. Like you have no style, you have no sense. If I had your money, I'd be dressed way better than you. I've had this so many times with people. They can't handle being outclassed. And they can't handle how much pain you have to go through to be rejected by that many women. To fuck the pigs you want. This is why I got so angry at my handler. To fuck the pigs that I've wanted. I've had to go through so much rejection. I've had to be so scared of pain that is not pain that you've ever felt before. It's not the pain of getting punched in the face. It's that too. But it's not the pain of getting killed. It's the pain of getting humiliated by people who you love. The pain of getting rejected by people who you would die if you couldn't be with them. People who your only existence is because they are here. And you have to face that they might not like you. And you have to try your best, knowing that you don't deserve them and you're learning how. And that you're not going to realize that you don't deserve them except for by their rejecting you. And it's going to be so fucking painful. And you're going to have to go through that inch by inch, crawling like Andy Dufresne through miles of shit. Going through so much fucking pain. Going through crying and thinking no one's going to love you and feeling rejected and going to the bar and waiting in line and feeling like an idiot. Being talked down to by rude bouncers. Having girls be mean to you and rude to you. Having guys threaten to kill you. Getting abused by girls sometimes who are callous and it fucks you up. And then having a good relationship with the next one, not letting the previous one ruin the relationship with the next one. Like having a truly forgiving, in the present kind of vibe where you have a clean slate, where you're not jaded, where you keep a good attitude even though you're sifting through 99 out of 100 people, you don't even like them, and you got to knock on 100 doors just to find the one you like, and every other one is traumatizing to you. And then by the time you find the one you like, you have to not be fucked up for her. And the amount of work you have to go through to do that is unbelievable. The amount of pain you have to go through to do that is unbelievable. And there are people who go to war, and then they come home and they're like, I can't even approach a girl. You know, don't call me a coward. Okay, I'd rather die than put on a pink tutu and call myself a coward. Okay, I'll go fight in a war, but I can't talk to a girl. There's so many people who are like that. And it triggers the same parts in the brain when you're humiliated socially. It triggers the part of your brain that goes off when you're tortured. And so it's like, I've put in the work to do that. I've went through that. I've had the pig that everyone likes. I've had the pig that I say, no matter how hot your pig is, my pig is hotter or as hot. Your pig's from Miami. You're a millionaire. You're a billionaire. You're a famous person. You're Kanye West. You're Kanye West. It doesn't matter. My pig is as hot or hotter than your pig. And then some fucking idiot is like, I'm just going to take that away from you. I'm like, you don't even know what the fuck you're doing. You don't know who I am and what this is. And you're violating God's law. You are fucking with a child of God. I've put in my fucking work. You want to be atheist about it? You're fucking with someone who's not a hypocrite. You're fucking with the girl from True Grit. You're fucking with someone who stands on business. And you're taking what I earned. You're taking the only thing that ever mattered to me. The thing that I earned, the only thing I've ever worked for in my entire life, you're taking that away from me. And you're not even for a second thinking you're jealous. You're not even for a second thinking this is fetishistic and sexual for you. You're just like, oh my God, you want to go fuck Teletubbies. Yeah, every guy who's hot gets accused of that, just so you know. Every fucking guy who fucks a lot of pigs gets accused of that. As the pig who does that, who accuses, you don't even understand that it's a fetish. That people who know, they know that that's a fetish for you. That Marshall Rosenberg guy who wrote the Nonviolent Communication, when he was moderating discussions between families who had killed each other's family members, in poorer countries, one of them was like, you fuck Teletubbies. And I was like, I'm not surprised. Someone would yell that from the audience. They're like, see how he reacts. If it makes him scared, that means he really did it. But if it doesn't, it means I was just joking. It means I was just testing him. If he reacts, it means I was right. If he doesn't, it means that I was right as well. That's the mindset of these fucking people. It's like, do you have any clue what you're saying? Okay, have you ever thought that everything you know is wrong? And I'm a civilized person? And you're not? Have you ever given me that respect, that trust, that like, I'm fucking outclassing you? And that's not that I'm tricking you and that I'm deceptive. Charisma had a baby. He had a really fucking hot pig. He met Donald Trump too. I really don't like Trump, but I don't hate him either. But you know what? I'm claustrophobic, and he has that CCOT prison. Yeah, I really I hated Justin Trudeau because he did that virus stuff. But Trump did it too with warp speed. But they're all bad. All those people are bad. Elon Musk too. But I mean, I like Trump more than... well, Trump is the best president ever. He really is. Okay, Trump is actually the best president ever. Now, why? Because he destroyed America? Okay, Iran also says this. They say, Trump, we don't want to hurt you. You're doing our job for us. Now, but do we want to destroy America? No, we want to destroy the CIA. And, that's probably pretty bad to say for me. The CIA is listening. But I agree that the majority of the people in the CIA are good. Because the majority of the people in the CIA are gang stalkers. And so in that sense, I feel safe. But the higher ups, I was like, don't talk shit about Israel. Don't talk shit about Bill Gates. Don't talk shit about the Clintons. These are the people who disappear people. But being a little loser like me entitles me to be able to speak the truth. The only people I'm even talking to are Dance Girl and whoever else. I hope my dad listens sometimes. I sometimes hope Zeph listens. Otherwise I don't really know who's listening. Now, what about the Nero dykes? The skinnier one. She smiled at me once, and I gave her a scowl. She quickly stopped smiling. I felt a little bit bad about that. After, in hindsight, I realized I don't really dislike gang stalkers in general anymore. But she was a bit egregious following me into the parking lot with Nero. She was really fucking stalking me. I go out of the house, she's right there following me. I walk into the parking lot. She follows me far into the parking lot. And then I turn around, she follows me far back. Like, she might as well have said, I'm not even trying to hide it. Like, I'm really trying to show you I'm stalking you here. Like, daring you. You know, it was a bit much. You know, I don't know really what her deal is. You know, if she has kind of a pillhead vibe. But, you know, she seems dense. But, like, she might be good at computer science. Like, she might have some kind of technical skill. I don't know. But she seems nice enough, actually. You know, I don't know why I said she seems dense. Seems like an idiot. I don't know. You know, I could be wrong about these things. I don't think you can really tell if someone's an idiot by the way they look. But I mean... But maybe you can. I mean, I saw that guy who was the university professor who adopted faith. And I knew before, I don't know if I knew before he was a professor. But I was like, this guy is clearly a brainiac. That doesn't mean you're dumb if you're not a brainiac. Brainiacs are the dumbest. Scholars are the dumbest people on earth. I've never met more dumb people than scholars. Nero Dyke Skinny doesn't really seem like a scholar. That's what I mean. But I don't think she's dumb. I just don't think she's not going to enjoy doing calculus. That's the kind of look she has. You know, I wonder what's the deal with her girlfriend or what? What's going on there? And what an ugly dog that is. Nero is the ugliest dog I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, the Nero decks are nice. I don't mind them. I'm not sure if they said some fucked up shit around me. But again, that's just... You know, they were like, oh, was that painting of Van Gogh? Meaning I should kill myself. You know, I'm reminded of my friend with cerebral palsy, who, not Marcel, but the other one. I'm not sure he'd call me his friend, but maybe he would. I mean, I assume, but Van Gogh was like, oh, you hired a prostitute for me? Come on. And Van Gogh would not have killed himself had he had a community. Yeah. Sometimes you do the internet. He was in the wrong country. He needed to be in India. He would have done well there. He would have done fantastically well there. But in the West, they would lock him up. You know, until finally they're like, we got to get rid of him, you know. They kept him in the cuckoo house. And he was the happiest he had ever been. Because they supplied all the paints for him. They gave him everything. Finally, people would get put in the cuckoo house just on purpose, just if they were an artist. So then they could have all the supplies they ever needed. Otherwise, he had to eat every second day. So that he could afford his art. And his brother would pay for it for him. And also, you know, hired him a prostitute who was like, he's like, why do you like me? And she's like, I don't know, I like your ears. And that's why he cut his ears off. And then he wanted to die after he got out of the crazy house. Because he had done his life's work, which was to paint the sun like no one had ever painted it. And you can see this painting. This was his life's work. This was his best painting. This is what gave him permission to kill himself. And I feel like I've written an album, Bitches Ain't Shit, I Suck My Own Dick. You know, no one even knows this album exists. But this is a very good album. This is like Picasso level. You know, I wrote the whole thing on the spot. The whole thing was improv. And it's one of the best albums ever. No one knows it, you know? But to me, this is one of the proudest things of my life. It's almost a thing I could die happy. I've only had a few goals in my life. I want to have a working dick. I want to write an album. I've always wanted to write a song. I not only wrote a song, I wrote a whole album. And can you imagine? What's your album name? Bitches Ain't Shit, I Suck My Own Dick. That's a fucking amazing album name. The whole thing. I mean, I was on acid, but still, it counts. Like, it was so fucking good. If I ever make an album, it'll be that. I'll produce that album. I would hire session musicians. If I had money, I would literally hire musicians to record instrumentals exactly like how Trent Reznor does. I'd say, that's what I want. Play me that exactly. Quantize it, make the timing perfect, and get the instrumentals completely dialed in. And then I'm gonna sing exactly what I sang. I mean, I have this now in my back pocket. I literally have a whole fucking album. Now, who would I make it for? You know, Dance Girl, maybe Helen, but mainly the only person I even care that they listen is Dance Girl. But you know what? I don't even think she'd listen. I don't even care, really. I don't care if she'd listen. But there's no one else who I'd even think would appreciate it. Maybe Dance Girl would appreciate it. But if not, I don't even care. I appreciate it. It's the album I wanted to make. I'm like Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson wrote his own surf music. He's like, I wrote music for myself to listen to while surfing. In 100 years, Bitches Ain't Shit, I Suck My Own Dick would be appreciated. I swear to God. People would be like, oh my God. Yeah. Have you ever seen porn where they fuck the girl's armpit? It's a strange one. I guess it'd be kind of stubbly. I got into this one thing called butt drops. And it's where the girl like jumps with her butt on the guy's stomach and like knocks the wind out of him. I was like, oh, that'd be a really good way to be tortured. You know, the girl's like riding your stomach. It's like, oh, you wish. But instead you get winded. And then strangely, one of the last porns I really liked, well, actually it was a long time ago really. I haven't watched porn in like a month. It's just this girl making out with a guy who's tied up with duct tape. And I was like, oh, why is that so hot? But yeah, it's pretty hot, you know. I've had some pigs tease me. Pigs with boyfriends are like, we can just make out, or like, you can have a hand job or something, but I can't fuck you. I'm like, oh my God, that's why I like that tied up thing. Then I had some other fetish of girls fucking some other guy while on the phone with their boyfriend. And I was like, I got that from Dance Girl. Or you know who I really got it from is Chelsea. But, you know, but I got it from Dance Girl too. I'm like, that's why I have that now. That's why I'm like feverishly, like obsessively, no refractory period, like traumatized level turned on by this. It's like there's something wrong here. You know, this is too much. This is like changing the nature of it. It's not a buildup anymore. It's just like I'm instantly coming. It's like it's like coming in my pants level, which you'd think is good, but you don't want to just like blow it within 1 second. But it's cool when that happens. When you're so turned on, there's no refractory period. I had seen a guy come like 5 times on a girl's face in like 2 minutes once. I was like, how are you fucking doing this? I thought, well, it just must be because you have a real pig. Now in porn, when you're watching porn, you can't really be as turned on as you would with a real pig. But then when I had real pigs, I was like, I still can't come 5 times in 2 minutes. Or multiple times in, you know, have I just never had a pig hot enough? Like, what would it be? Chelsea? Like, Din Venom's pig had a crazy Miami body. Jess had a super hot face, but not the best body. You know, I had a Norwegian named Lil, and she was really, really gorgeous. You know, but I never thought to try and come as many times as I could. I was like, once I'm done, I'm just done. But I one time tried to come as many times as I could with Din Venom's pig. I think I made it to like 8. I was trying to go for 12. What would make her come was after I would come. And I was like, oh, it's so sensitive. And that was the time where she would always like, you know, that was the thing she liked more than anything. I said to her about her new boyfriend, I'm like, does he lick your butt? And she's like, no. And I was like, that's so fucked up. I was like, how often does he come? She's like, once a week. I was like, oh my fucking God. I was like, do you need permission to fuck other guys? She's like, yep. I was like, oh my fucking God. And now they have a baby. Oh man, I'll bet he wants to kick her ass. Oh, I'll bet she doesn't tell him all the guys she fucks. Oh, she's always out doing her modeling, isn't she? I'll bet he wants to fucking put a nail gun through her head. Well, I mean, well, what's the difference between hitting a pig and a pig cheating on you and giving you an STD? What if it's the same amount of pain? I don't know. Well, fucking, you might say cheating isn't malicious. But, well, STDs don't exist, but you're transferring bacteria, and that causes problems. And it also, it fucks your trust. When someone lies to you, that's seriously violating. That's really emotionally fucking painful. Like, it seems equal, really. I'm not trying to condone, I personally don't, my opinion is don't hit a pig. Don't hit anyone. Don't argue with anyone. If you hate someone, just leave. And if you can't leave, then fight them. But I mean, a lot of pigs, how do they even know that it caused, like, unless they get a good space sting, how do they even know? It's like, do you know that your emotional center is thrice mine? And that you can manipulate me the way I can manhandle you? Like, you can lie to me the way I can manhandle you? And your lying to me causes me the same amount of pain as me manhandling you? Like, do you not get that? So this level is the one I fucking hate the most. All of these ones with these stupid cars and these blue cars. I'm so tired. I hope I have some fucking Burger left. Oh, there's this guy named Rin on YouTube, and he does NoFap. He's on like day 240 now. He's really awesome. I'm really glad I don't feel like jacking. I keep telling myself to jack. I hear these superstitious words, like release, but I'm not paying attention to those anymore. I hear the word wasn't. I think, what does that mean? It wasn't Dance Girl giving you her dress. And then I'm like, no, fuck that. Fuck that. And then it was like, release. You're supposed to release. You're supposed to jack off. Because after you do, you're going to realize it wasn't what you thought, and actually Dance Girl hates you. And only jacking off is going to clear your mind. Nothing will clear your mind except jacking off. And I'm like, I don't trust. This is just superstition. This is just my mind playing tricks on me. And if I believe it, I'm actually crazy. As long as I dismiss these thoughts as stupid, I'm not crazy. Okay, as long as I dismiss these thoughts as superstitious, I'm not crazy. And so that's what I do. I'm just like, these thoughts are superstitious. I'm betting on the way I see it. I'm playing it the way I see it. The way I see it, Dance Girl loves me, and we're gonna go on our fucking date soon. And it's like, I'm fucking in heaven. There's nothing I want more. I'm getting what I want. I'm getting the thing I want more than anything. Oh my god.